Hi, and welcome to one of the series of library tutorials that we offer here at Blue Mountain Community College. You might be surprised because this tutorial actually has just a little bit to do with the library. It's actually using Google Scholar. If you haven't used Google Scholar in the past, what it does is connect you, kind of as it describes, to scholarly articles. The website is a little bit different, and instead of just google.com, it's scholar.google.com. So there's some great pros and cons with using Google Scholar, which we'll cover. You do have the option of, working with, building a library if you have a login, building citations and that sort of thing. Under settings, you can also change results. So for example, if you want to actually look at 20, which I prefer to look at more, or if you want to look at multiple results in new windows, you can certainly do that. Library links sometimes is where you can look and see what libraries you might have access to. So for example, we actually don't have this here, but at Oregon State University, you can type that in and that would match up to libraries. So if you found articles in Google search, it would connect you to your access to the library. But there's some basic things you can do there. So some positives with Google search is that it's familiar, right? We all use Google every day. The benefits are these are scholarly articles, generally more credible. The cons, which we'll see in a minute, as you can see, I did a search on stress in college students. We'll do that. Some of the cons are, kind of a similar problem that you get with Google as opposed to a database. We have over 3 million results. So we might have to be really particular with how we scale the search to make it more specific. We might want to do stress and college students and student achievement, for example. So that's narrowed things down a little bit. We've gone from 3 million to 824,000, but we might find that we still have a lot to browse through. You do have some options, though. You can really look at things by date. If you want things from the last few years, you can certainly do that. Since 2012, to look at things, or even more recently, we've just cut out 10,000 more by looking at things just from 2015. You can even put in a custom range. What can be difficult, however, is another pro and con is, so we'll probably try and take a look at some of these, and what's going to happen is, depending on the site, they will let you read part of it. You'll see maybe some of the references, but quite often you're going to run into a scenario where they're asking you to buy this. And so depending, again, if you're at a larger university which has a ton of things, that's often not a problem because your library will have a subscription. But there tends to be some limits with using Google Scholar. We don't want you to pay for anything ever. I will say, if you do find an article you really, really want, come to the library and ask us. We might be able to get it for you. You can see this particular article. What I'm seeing here is the authors, just to point out. This looks like it was a study in this particular book. Google Books really vary on the level of content. We might have good access to looking at pretty much this entire chapter. There's actually quite a bit of content, but it's a little bit more hunt and pecking and to see what you might be able to get access to. So in this case, we have a couple pages cut out. I will say, from my own research in the past, sometimes I've found this very helpful and sometimes not at all. So it's definitely worth taking advantage of. Again, just a pro and con as a resource. What you'll start seeing on the right is articles that are available, full text. Usually, I find that once in a while they don't work, so it is something still to keep in mind. For example, you might be interested on first-generation college students' experience. It's looking like it might be available through Brown. It may not. Let's click and find out. And no, so even though it's saying it's providing it through Brown University, this is through the APA, it's looking like we still only have access to part of it. So, I really like pointing out Google Scholar to folks because I think some people really do like it, but I just really want you to know some things are accessible, some things aren't. I just expanded our search, same thing. So, again, just something to keep in mind. Something that you might want to do. So we're looking at Google Scholar. Google also has an advanced search. And I'm just going to take you there. It used to be a little bit more apparent. Now you have to dig for it a little bit. So if I look at student stress and I don't know, success, we'll just do something like that. Because I really just want to show you the example. So I've gotten a lot of articles, great. But I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do an advanced search. You have to do a search, then click there. This is where you could narrow your search a little bit more. Like say, you know what, I want things produced by an educational institution because I know that's probably going to be good. Or you might say, I want something produced by a governmental organization. It might be a little bit better. And one thing that you can look at here is it something that's openly usable? Is it free to use? Is it free to use or share? Etc., etc. And you know, one thing that we can also do that I forgot to add in this search was limiting by time. So let's go back to our advanced search. You can also limit to usually by year, last update. It's not as broad. It's, you know, the year is the furthest you can go out, but it has allowed us to perhaps focus in on things that might be really useful for us. But again, maybe not. You know, it's still, I think, better than using straight Google because it does allow you to tailor your search more for what you're looking for. And it's familiar. Again, a lot of people like it, so you might as well learn how to use it well. So that's Google or an advanced Google Scholar in a nutshell.